Bad Batch is back, everybody. Yay! Today, here on Two Geeks, we begin with Season 3. So is Bad Batch bad? Is it good? We're going to find out today on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Stephen and Mike.
So who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most industrious, the most, I was going to say facial hair, but I'm not sure quite yet. Between the two of us, yes. Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land. And no, I personally know some people have more facial hair than myself, so sometimes his son is watching us. So
that's funny. That's true.
My friend Kip has got almost the ZZ Top beard going, so you know.
Wow. I remember when he had a short beard. That was a long time ago.
I also remember when he had it braided and stuff too.
Wow. That was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes, it was.
See what I did there.
Yes, it was.
Speaking of galaxies far, far away, everybody, we are excited to talk about Bad Batch because first 3 episodes dropped, and Mike and I have saved it for the podcast. So we have.
Oh, I've got a headache.
So I'm looking forward for his discussions, his thoughts on this, because this should be quite interesting on this. So anyway, with that, we're going to get rolling into our geeky news portion of the show real quick.
All right, let's do this. Okay, I have one item for the geeky news. I am actually pretty excited about this. So Screen Rant was speaking with Mark Wahlberg on the red carpet for his latest adventure movie, which is called Arthur the King. That actually sounds kind of interesting, too. I might have to look that up. I like Mark Wahlberg. He does a lot of good stuff. The actor revealed that his team has just reacquired the rights to the project of $6 Million Man. Only it will be $6 billion man, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. See, it says we've got the rights. Again, we're looking at making that movie hopefully soon. Again, ticking clock. Thank God it's an older guy who they feel like has some real life experience that makes it worth it for him to be the subject of the experiment. I think Mark is probably a perfect stand-in for Lee Majors. So just a little background on the $6 Million Man. The $6 Million Man originally ran on ABC in 1973 to 1978. The classic series starred Lee Majors as Steve Austin, a NASA astronaut whose body is outfitted with a $6 million worth of bionic enhancements and replacements following a catastrophic crash. The enhancements give him,
Oh, no, wait, wait, no, wait a minute. That's not too close to the horror movie one. Sorry about that.
But it made that, it kind of made that noise. You're right. The enhancement gives him several powers, including super strength, super speed, and supervision. A spin-off series titled The Bionic Woman ran from 1976 to 1978, and that starred, who did it? They
Lindsay
were married.
Wagner.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay Wagner. They were married for a few years. The $6 billion man is a decade in the making. To account for inflation, the upcoming remake, which, by the way, still is not as high as our national debt, by the way, Just saying. The upcoming remake will be titled The $6 Billion. That's billion.
$1 billion.
With Mark Wahlberg as Steve Austin, set to receive the best enhancements the modern times have to offer him. The project was first announced in 2014 with Peter Berg, lone survivor, set to direct and film. Filming was scheduled to begin in 2015. However, the film suffered some setbacks when Berg departed the project, being replaced by Damien Zivron to Catch a Killer in 2015. The production was set to begin in September of 2016 with a December 2017 release date. In December 2017, the Weinstein Company sold the film rights to Warner Brothers, who announced a mid-2019 release. So as you can see, this keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah. Yuck.
For the $6 billion man in April of 2018. Unfortunately, Zifron exited the project that May over creative differences. In October of 2018, the remake was removed from Warner Brothers' release calendar, throwing into doubt that the project might actually get off the ground. The last major update on the $6 billion man came in April 2019 when Travis Knight of Bumblebee and Bill DeCoin, Ozark, replaced Zifron as director and writer, respectively. However, it is unknown if the two are still attached to the project as of February of 2024. So hopefully that is good news that Mark says that his company has gained the rights to it. I think he'll be a fantastic leading man. I think he'll make a great Steve Austin. And I just generally like Mark Wahlberg. Don't like his music, but I like his movies. That's all I got to say about that. Steven, you there?
Yeah. Sorry, I muted because I had to blow my nose. Sorry.
Oh.
$6 Million Man was, Three Geeky Dads said $6 Million Man was based on the book called Cyborg.
Nice. Look at that.
Three Geeky
Our
Dads.
Tito.
They're always on it. I know, right?
Yeah, they're always on it. So, yeah, I was a fan of $6 Million Man back in the 70s. I remember talking about this remake a couple years ago at work. Yeah. It kind of became a talking point at work for some of us old guys, some of us old geezers, and the youngins are going, "What's $6 Million Man?"
Right.
And of
Did
course,
you have the action figure?
Do what?
I had the action figure.
I think I had the action figure. Man, that was so long ago. The action figure was cool because you could like look through the back of his head and look through his eye and see the little bionic, thing and all that stuff. That was cool.
Yeah.
And of course, Lee Majors is in my favorite Christmas movie. One of my favorite Christmas movies, Scrooged. And
is he in that?
Yeah. Briefly. He's in the night the reindeer died segment. He shows up at Santa's workshop as Santa's workshop is getting invaded by the terrorists, and Santa goes, "Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man, you've been a very good boy this year."
That's funny.
Yeah, I love
that's funny.
That's a great scene. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm a fan of $6 Million Man, so I hope that $6 Billion Man gets off the ground and we get to see it here soon. So
very cool. The last thing I saw Lee Majors in was in the pilot episodes of Human Target, which is based upon a comic book series.
Ah, cool.
And
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yes, the story of Christopher Chance, but you find out that Lee Majors' character was the original Christopher Chance, and it was the assassin going good guy to help people, putting himself in harm's way to protect others, thus the Human Target.
So basically, he's playing the $6 Million Man.
To a certain degree, yes. Oh, Three Geeky Dad said Lee Majors was Ash's dad in Ash versus the Evil Dead TV series.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Interesting factoid there.
That's enough. I can't keep up with them dadgum Three Geeky Dads and all their factoids, as you put it.
Now the question is Tito over there keyboard surfing and getting all this information, or is it Brian?
No, I bet you it's Brian. Yeah,
I bet it's Brian.
Brian's always on top.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
But Tito's supposed to be the one doing that. So, of course, our Tito over here is supposed to be doing that. But then again, she doesn't know anything about the $6 million man. So,
I didn't
Lee
hear
Majors.
what she said.
She says, I don't know anything to look that up. You just look up Lee Majors. That's what you have to look up.
Right on. All right. Any other news or anything?
No, that's the only news I got. I do have some Geek Dar, though.
Let's do this.
All right.
Go with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. It's not all he's lost.
Well, real quick, let me start because
Sure.
mine's kind of connected. In speaking of Lee Majors reduxes, restarts, or kind of thing. A trailer. I just watched a trailer last week because I love trailers. Ryan Gosling is in the new movie called The Fall Guy. So on my radar or Geekdar is to watch The Fall Guy, and Emily Blunt's in it, which is based upon originally the Lee Majors TV series, The Fall Guy. So it should be interesting. It looks pretty good. So
were you a fan of the Fall Guy TV series?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I
but it was not,
watched it actually.
yeah. Well, it was my pre-pubescent time frame because it was the girls in bikinis that I was hoping to see in every episode.
Makes sense. Okay, I get it. Yeah, I also watched Miami Vice for the girls too. So, and
Right.
the Ferrari, and Elvis the alligator or crocodile or whatever. Because yeah, I was a big fan of Miami Vice growing up. Anyway, I got a few things, so I'm going to try and make this quick. The first thing was, and it actually came in last Saturday after we did the episode. Striper has put out, and if you've listened to the show anytime, for any time, I'm a huge Striper fan. Got my Striper hat on today. Striper is a Christian heavy metal band from the 1980s who are still rocking hard today. And they just put out an acoustic CD. This is only available through their website and through their Patreon site. So it's a CD and a Blu-ray of them performing some of their biggest hits acoustically in the Spirit House studio, which they love to go to Spirit House. They've done plenty of videos from Spirit House. So check that out if you're into Christian metal or if you're just into 80s heavy metal in general. Second one is the great Ace Frehley, the original guitarist from Kiss, the original Spaceman, the one and only Spaceman. I don't care what Tommy Thayer says. He's just a replacement. Yep. Ace, still rocking. He's like, I don't know, 70 something years old and still out there rocking and still touring and still making music. And this is his latest album, 10,000 Volts. Some people try to say this is the best since the 1978 solo Kiss album. Yeah, it's not that great, but I mean, it's good. It's good. I like it. I'm not going to say it's the best since the 78 solo album because his Frehley's Comet was probably better and his Trouble Walking.
I remember that one.
Better.
I remember Frehley's Comet. Yep.
Frehley's Comet was amazing, and Trouble Walking is wow. It's hard to beat those. And I even like Spaceman that came out 2019. So, but it's not a bad album. There's some really good tracks on this album. So if you're into the Spaceman, check out Ace Frehley 10,000 Volts. All right. Last thing I got. This is probably the most important thing on my list. I did show some pics on Facebook this week. This week I had the pleasure of going to see Billy D. Williams promoting his new book, What Have We Here? And it is even autographed by the scoundrel himself.
Very nice.
There you go. So
have you finished reading it yet?
No, I've read chapter 1. but it is really, what I have read is really good. I so far I would highly recommend it. Although I'm I'm a fan of Billy D. Billy D. The Lando character I've always loved. He was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what
Right.
Tyler say. I don't even think I have a CD playing, but in my vehicle, you can get the Ace on iTunes and all the other major streaming services. Now, Stripers you can't though. That one's only on CD. I had to rip that. I had to rip it with my PC, put it on Google Drive, go log on to Google Drive on my Mac, and then pull it over to iTunes. It was quite the ordeal to get the Striper one. But the Blu-ray is fantastic, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, I took hey Megan, can you hand me that Lando action figure right there? Thank you. So I have a couple of customized Lando action figures,
Mm-hmm.
and I took one with me with the hopes of getting to meet him. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. But so I have Lando, and I custom made a cape, which, by the way, Tyler was just commenting, and Tyler printed these up for me. So I put a Colt 45 sticker on it, because if you know Billy D. Williams, you know he was the spokesman for Colt 45. It works every time.
Right on.
So I made custom action figures, and this one doesn't have it, but I have another one, and the one that I had for Billy has a beer can actually in his hand that says Colt 5 on it too.
Wow, that's fun. That's fun.
So I didn't get to meet him, but after it was over, Rennie Knott, he's a KSDK News Channel 5 St. Louis personality. He got the pleasure of interviewing Billy, which I like Rennie too, so that was cool. So Rennie and Billy D were walking off the stage, and I got up to the stage and I went, Rennie, because I figured if anyone would pay attention, Rennie would. And he turns around, I was like, can you come here? So he come over to me, and I was like, can you give something to Mr. Williams for me? And I handed him the action figure. I had a nice little plastic case and everything. I have a stand for him, and I even had a 2 Geeks mic and a microphone sticker in there too.
Oh, fine. And
I explained to Rennie what it was, and he says, you want me to give it to him? I said, yeah, it's a gift for him, and just give it to him. And he's like, okay, will do. And so somewhere, hopefully, Billy D. Williams has a Colt 45 Lando action figure.
nice.
Maybe someday we'll see it in a photo. Maybe he'll have it in his office, in his bookcase, or something to that extent.
Here's what 3 Geeky Dads said. Billy G, the OG Harvey Dent.
Yes, that was even brought up too. That was brought up in some of the questions and stuff. And he said that he would have liked to have got a shot at Harvey Dent. You can get a look at what what Billy D's Harvey Dent or Two-Face would have been in the '89 comic Batman series that just came out last year with Michael Keaton as the Batman and Billy D as Two-Face in that comic book. So you can kind of get an idea for it. You know, it's not him acting it, but you know, it's in his likeness and so on and so forth.
Right on.
All right. Well, that's my geek jar.
Cool. One thing just to interject here real quick, everybody. If you remember from a couple of weeks ago, we did the very cool episode of where we did our own AI story, Star Wars story. That is on Ko-fi. The PDF version is on Ko-fi. That's for everybody. So I'm very excited to have that out and stuff, and love to get your thoughts on it. So you can comment on our Ko-fi support page. But anybody can go there. So it's not restricted for anybody. What I am working on, it's taking a little bit of time, but I know I'm going to make this happen, is I'm getting the audio book done, but I am having voices in it. Now, they're not going to be like just right out of Star Wars voice. I just can't do that. But I've got a narrator. I'm picking out some voices for different characters that we have. It'll be a little different kind of a thing, but I am going to have that. So we'll have it as an audiobook. That will go out to all the, that'll go out to anybody who's a supporter. So,
Ooh, I'm glad I'm a supporter because I want to listen to it.
Right. So yeah, I had to up the. I actually had to get a subscription to the to 11 Labs is what I'm using for the voices, the AI voices and stuff. So because I was like, oh man, I'm running out of characters. I didn't even finish the first chapter yet.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. This should be pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Oh, Megan has something.
Oh, go for it, Megan. Though. I can't hear her through her mic.
Yeah. You got me turned on.
Yeah, you're turned on. It's plugged into the soundboard, so.
Because I sound quiet to me too, and I'm right here.
I hear you.
Well, she's not coming through on.
Huh. I don't know what's going on here. All right, you want to come over here? All right, we're gonna switch places.
Okay. Do 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 do. We're waiting until they switch spaces. Let's see how long it takes. Boop to get situated.
Hi.
Hey, okay, what you got?
So mine's not Star Wars related, but oh, you can't see it.
Put your hand behind it,
Dad. Or I just give it to Dad.
Okay, he's gonna hold it up. Okay, I got it.
Me being obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. I got a more or less challenge coin, but it's a token. It's like if they had their own like arcade token, and it's Toy Freddy, and the back just says no cash value with the Fazbear Entertainment.
How big is
I just wanted to show it off. It's about the same size as Dad's challenge coin from
That's huge. That's big. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, both the same Dad's bounty hunter coin.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
It's really thick too. But yeah, I just wanted to show it.
Very cool. I'm glad you did. All right. They are switching places, coming back to their normal seats. How long will it take for them? They made it now, so let's begin. Okay.
We're in a tight space. We have a small studio. That works out. She's switching because Mike's spot is much more better.
Cheers.
Iced coffee's good this morning.
I'm doing hot tea today. Mint hot tea. All right.
I should probably do tea, but oh well.
All right, everybody. We ready? Let's do this.
Ready.
Okay.
All right, let's go into the main event.
It's time for the main event. Star Wars is back in town, everybody. Star Wars.
Nothing but Star Wars.
Thank you for joining us for today's singing episode of Two Geeks and a Microphone. All right, Mike. Everybody, Mike included, I need your help.
Okay.
I don't know how to rate this because I just don't know.
Okay.
So
all right.
I'm excited for our conversation today. See how Mike feels about it and stuff. So
I already know what we're using for a scale.
Okay, what's our scale? What's our scale today?
The hounds. I don't remember what they're called though. The hound that Omega domesticates.
One of them, yes.
Yeah. Well, she. What did you expect her to domesticate all of them? What did you say, Megan?
Lurca, Lurca.
I don't know.
That sounds about right. Because when I watched it with the subtitles on.
We're just gonna call it hounds because I don't know what in the world they
Hounds of the Baskervilles.
There you go.
Hounds of Mantis. The Hounds of Mantis. Okay.
Sounds like Stephen and I might not see eye to eye on this episode, but that's okay. That's what these are for. So,
well, I'll explain. Go ahead. All
right,
no,
that's fine. I'm just by your initial reaction, it sounds like we may not see eye to eye, but again, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, we have not discussed this. We try to quote unquote save it for the podcast, being one of our catchphrases. So I watched it Wednesday night. I rewatched it again Friday. I like to try and watch it twice if I can before the podcast, so I can get a fresh look at it. 3 episodes. They dropped the first 3 episodes of season 3. Yes. I'm actually excited at where it's going. Unfortunately, I think it's connecting to the sequel trilogy, but I think what Dave Filoni is doing is he's trying to do his best to give us an interesting story leading into the sequel trilogy to hopefully enhance that mess.
Mm-hmm. I think Mandalorian as well.
Well, yeah. I think all his projects are doing that. He's doing his best, and then I think he's given us interesting stories in the meantime. Leading up into that messy sequel that we have, unfortunately. So my overall take on this was, so 3 episodes. The first episode was a little slow. It did feel Groundhogish Day. Because you had a little bit of, she gets up, she does this, she gets up, and does this, and does this, and in the meantime, we see that they are taking blood from each one of the clones that are there at the Mount Tantis facility and testing it, and that's the big question: what is going on here? Why are they testing their blood? And including Omega. They were testing hers also. To me, that was the most intriguing thing about episode 1. Episode 2, that's when we start seeing, that's when she starts domesticating, they say domesticating the hound and everything. Right. She kind of befriends the hound and all that stuff, which I like that. I thought it was kind of cool. And then 3 is the escape. Her and Crosshair escaped the facility. And so,
yes.
I liked having all 3 of these dropped at once and watching them almost as one whole episode. I think it made it much more better.
Cheers on that. I agree with you. Yes.
As far as a season opener, like I said, the first episode was a little slow, but I think it really ramped up after that. It was really cool seeing the Emperor show up at the Mount Tantis site. It almost felt Return of the Jedi. You can tell the Emperor when he arrives. The Emperor is coming here himself.
Mm-hmm.
We will double our efforts. You're going to work twice as fast and get paid less.
Yep.
And twice as much as 0 is 0. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a Return of the Jedi feel to that. I thought it was cool. I like that. Overall, I think I'd give this 7.5 of those hounds, whatever they are.
Okay.
Putting all 3 episodes together. I would not rank each episode as a 7.5, but if you put them all 3 as one entire episode, I would give it a 7.5 because I think we are leading into enhancements to the sequel trilogy, and I'm looking forward to seeing where exactly this goes.
Okay. I don't know how to score it, to be open with you. That's my problem.
Well, we score 1 to 10, so
right. The opener, I was like, this is our first episode, kind of a thing. And I was like, well, okay, if you don't know what's going on, like if you haven't watched the other seasons, I'm like, there's no way that you would know kind of what's happening and that kind of a thing. And I thought, well, okay. And, you know, sometimes they did do a recap. Okay. They did do a recap. I watched the recap. I didn't Steven skip the recap, kind of thing. So, which was fun, but it just didn't draw me in. And I'm thinking, I was just like, oh, what's going on? Then the second episode came. I said, okay, we're world building. Give it a chance, Steven. It's a little different world building. Okay. Then we did the third one. I'm like, okay, they escaped. All of that could have been done in almost half the time. And I was just like, man.
Well, I did say that episode 1 was kind of Groundhog Day-ish.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Episode 1 probably could have been shorter.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is your
could have been. Yeah. Well, I think I am thankful that they did drop 3 episodes, because if they just did that one, I'd been like, dude, I got other things to do with my time.
Right.
Now here's the thing. So here's what's going to. How many? Do we know how many episodes they're going to be?
I think
for this season.
I think 18, because I think last 2 seasons had 18. So
okay.
I'm assuming 18.
Well, I figured with the
and we're not going to go through we're not going to do a after show for every episode. We're going to do the same thing we did for season 2. So we're having our season opener now, and then we will do a mid-season review and, you know, review all the episodes up to the mid-season, and then we'll come in at the end and do a finale. So we'll do three episodes for Bad Batch season 3.
Right.
Oh, does it say 15? Okay. Maybe there was 15.
Good. That means we're probably not going to get any more fillers, kind of a thing.
I'm not committing to that.
We better not. Now, I figure with the introduction to the Emperor, okay, they did say Operation Necromancer. They brought all that up. I'm like, okay, you know.
But see, what is Operation Necromancer? See, to me, that's intriguing. I'm excited to find out what that is.
It's Star Killer. Just saying.
I don't think it's Star Killer. Joris Seboth.
Maybe.
I'd be excited if it was either Star Killer or Joris Seboth, but we know that's not happening.
That's true. That's not happening. I'm sure it's him. I'm sure it's the Emperor trying to clone the Emperor, and we'll get Snoke as a demented form of the Emperor, kind of a thing.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get something in between. Maybe it will be Joris Seboth, or maybe it will be Star Killer.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe. So anyway, everybody, I don't know how to score it because I want to be fair. And so I don't know how to score it because I'm like, I know it's going to get better. It starts off. I'm just so used to the first episodes being a bang. That was my expectation. So I probably went in with too high expectations, to go into it. So that's just kind of where I'm at. But if you really put me on it, I'd say a 6 Hounds of Mount Tantis. Then,
okay.
That would be my score. I wanted more. But I get where they're going. I understand they're trying to get everybody back together, and it's really because it did. Season 2 did have the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back feel to it. Everyone was kind of scattered, kind of a thing. And then they were all getting back together in Return of the Jedi. They were there to save Leia and Luke. I mean, Luke was there to save Leia and Han, and Lando was there. Why, hello there, kind of a thing. So,
sorry, I was looking for synopsises for each episode.
Oh yeah. So everybody, if you haven't, if you're thinking about watching it, if you've watched the other seasons, I think it's important that you do watch season 3 to give you closure to the stories and that kind of a thing. So, because I do want to see how these turn out. Hey, I'd like to hear if everybody, while you're getting the synopsis, anybody think that Tech's coming back? Is Tech coming back, everybody?
I think he is. There was no body. No body means no death. Sorry. And I don't care that it is a cartoon. I mean, we've seen deaths in the Clone Wars before. So I still think no body, no death. That's
Okay.
my belief.
All right, cool.
So I was looking for synopsises for each of the episodes, and it's funny. The first episode is called Confined, and I'm on IMDb, right? And right here on IMDb, it says user review, and the first one says boring. So apparently somebody agreed with you, Stephen.
I have to say, I like that review much more better. Boring. I should have thought that.
I'll cheer to it. I don't totally agree with it, but I'll cheer to it anyway. Let's see I don't know where they put their synopsis at. My gosh. I thought IMDb, let's go to Wikipedia. Maybe Wikipedia will have. Sorry, I should have had this ready.
Where's our Tito?
She's sitting over there.
Of course, we can't hear her for some reason.
I know. I don't know what's going on this morning. Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia.
Do we think Crosshair's going to return to the team? I mean, he's with the girl, but do we think he's going to be good, or is he going to turn him in? Or
no, I think because the Empire's done with him. Yeah. I fully believe that he will be back on the team. He's not going to be happy about it, or at least he's going to pretend not to be happy. Is
he ever not happy? Oh yeah,
is he ever happy?
Right.
I agree. Is he ever happy? No, he's never happy.
I did like how they introduced the whole hand trimmer for him. That character development side. I was like, oh, he's got hand trimmers, so he's not as crosshairy, to the mark, ace marksman.
Okay. I can't get to what the heck. I don't know what's going on this morning. Okay, I can't find the synopsises. All right, so let's just kind of break this down by memory a little bit.
Is it synopsises or synopsini?
Synopsis.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm making that up. I don't know.
Let's see if a I forget where I was going with that. Anyway. No, that's a good thing to bring up, though, is the fact that Crosshair has a tremor. And what do you think's causing the tremor?
I don't know.
I think I think it's whatever they're doing to each of these clones, because they're running all these experiments on them. And
okay.
So at the end, when she. Okay, so you had what's his face, Hemlock. Hemlock's going. He's trying to destroy both Crosshair and Omega because they escaped, and she's like, "No, you don't want to do that because we actually got a match, and it worked." And he thought
it's a match. Her 23andMe came back, and she's a match.
Yeah, she's a match to every one of the other clones. Anyway, no, that's not what I mean, though. Because they're doing this experiment, and I think it has to do with the whole cloning the Emperor, which leads into this Project Necromancer. And because they said something about bonding with the M count. And the M count is obviously midichlorian count. Do you think they're saying M count because they don't want to say midichlorians?
That's a good question. I would concur. I didn't think about that, but yes. Hey, I've got some synopsis, by the way, too.
Did you find them? Good. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right, here we go. Season 3, episode 1, Confined. Says, following her capture, Omega becomes part of the Imperial Cloning Division against her will. One of her tasks consists of taking blood samples of clones alongside Emery Carr. However, Omega becomes suspicious when Emery also takes Omega's blood, only for Nalase to discard the sample in secret. Dun, dun, dun. She also evades the guards to speak with fellow Bad Batch member Crosshair, who vainly attempts to discourage Omega from escaping Mount Tantis, and befriends a Lurka hound named Batcher. When the Imperials decide to euthanize Batcher, Omega frees the hound, which escapes into the jungles of Wayland. Dr. Hemlock warns Omega that further defiance will result in consequences for Crosshair. I love how they call him Dr. Hemlock. That's so funny. Hemlock's a poison that, was it Socrates took? Socrates killed him. There's a famous painting of him taking the hemlock, killing himself.
Well, Filoni has a meaning behind everything.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Filoni has, and I think he's well versed in a lot of different things like that. So that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah. So just for the record, we took 25 minutes of a TV show to tell us, hey, here's where we're at. We're taking blood samples. We befriended a dog. Okay, moving on.
And we still got more out of it than we did an entire season of what was the Rogue One, television series.
Andor.
Yeah, we still got more information than we did in Andor. Sorry.
Just to digress for a second, my favorite part in Andor when he did the speech. There was the speech scene near the second to last episode or something like that. And I'm like, that speech was great. It was written well, talking about sacrifice and stuff like that, but still a TV series it did not make.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then Andy Serkis was great in it. But other than that, yeah.
That's true. He was good in the prison sequence and stuff.
I love the prison sequence. That was great.
I agree.
Was some good stuff there.
That was good stuff. Yeah.
So I'm not saying everything was bad in Andor. I'm just saying most of it I slept there because I was bored in tears. Yeah.
There was more action and story in the Prison Break stuff because you knew what they were trying to do. You knew that was coming. Yeah. Yep. All right. So season 3, episode 2, Paths Unknown. After gaining intel from the Durand crime family, Hunter and Wrecker travel to an abandoned Imperial cloning facility Hemlock was in charge of. The pair runs into Max. Or is it Max or is it Mox? Mox, Zeke, and Stock.
And Mox, by the way, is voiced by Daniel Logan, who voiced young Boba Fett in episode 2.
That's pretty cool.
So it's cool that Daniel Logan is still playing his own part.
Right? That's great. So there were clone cadets that were held prisoner by Hemlock before managing to escape as the Empire destroyed the facility. Zeke helps Hunter and Wrecker enter the facility while evading slither vines, an Imperial experiment gone awry. Meanwhile, Mox and Stack manage to find the Marauder. While Zeke is gathering intel, the trio are attacked by the slither vines, which are revealed to be the tentacles of a huge monster. Mox and Stack are able to extract the 3 before defending the creature with explosives. Hunter then promises to take the cadets to Pabu. He never said Pabu, but you knew that's what he was talking about.
Yeah. He was taking them to that island. That we learned about last season and everything. I'm sure that the cadets are going to have a role to play later in the series and the season. I'm sure that they drop them off, and then somewhere later in the season, after they've gotten both Omega and Crosshair, they're going to go back to the island, and then we're going to see the 3 cadets, and my guess is they will get some more training from Clone Force 99, and then by the season finale they'll probably be fighting with them. Those are my predictions anyway. I mean, there's no point in introducing these cadets if you're not going to do something with them,
or you just suck at your storytelling. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is
But he
Dave
doesn't.
Filoni, dude.
It's
This
Dave
is Dave Filoni. I'm not. I'm not going there. This is not like Ruin Johnson. Okay.
Right on.
If this was Ruin Johnson, I would 100% agree with you.
All right. Shadows of Tantis, episode 3. Emperor Palpatine travels to Mount Tantis to learn about the progress of Project Necromancer.
I love the name.
Yeah. After Emery takes a sample of Omega's blood, Nala Say warns Omega that she is in danger and urges her to escape using a data pad with access to the facility and its shuttles. Omega frees Crosshair, and upon learning that all shuttles are grounded because of Palpatine's visit, they escape through the Lurka Kennel chutes to find a crashed shuttle. Emery attempts to stop them, but is stunned by Crosshair, inadvertently triggering an alarm. After neutralizing a search team, Crosshair and Omega, joined by Batcher, steal their shuttle but end up being pursued. However, after learning from Emery that the M count required for Project Necromancer can be replicated with Omega's blood, Hemlock calls off the pursuit because they need Omega alive.
And as the Emperor says, you have the Empire's full support behind you. Yeah, so he has everything that the Empire has at his fingertips, which I thought was funny because he even says that. He's like, I have the full support of the Empire behind me.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
So here are the next releases. Episode 4 is called A Different Approach. Then the next week is episode 5, which is called The Return. Then on March 13th, there's 2 episodes dropping. One's called Infiltration and the other one's called Extraction. Then episode 8 is Bad Territory. Episode 9, The Harbinger. Episode 10 and 11 drop April 3rd. So there's 2 episodes. One's called Identity Crisis and the other one's called Point of No Return. Past the point of no return. Sorry. And then episode 12 is Juggernaut. Episode 13 is Into the Breach. Episode 14, Flash Strike. And then the last episode, The Cavalry Has Arrived, is May 1st.
I'm starting to wonder if Filoni is a Judas Priest fan by any chance. Necromancer is a Judas Priest song. Juggernaut is a Judas Priest album. I wonder if he's a Judas Priest fan.
Maybe.
I can appreciate that. I'm a big Priest fan, so that's cool. I want to know if Emery. I want to know if she's going to switch sides. That's a question on my mind. Do you think she'll switch sides?
I don't know. I see where you're getting that, and I like it. I mean, because the way she was being treated, kind of a thing. And she's like, there's that possibility. She did give Omega back her little doll thing.
Right. And she did tell Omega, well, I don't know if she was just telling Omega or if she was saying it both to Omega and Crosshair, but if you come with me, we can forget all this. Mm-hmm. So she was kind of giving Omega a second chance. Now, granted, I know that's all in support of the Empire as far as she's concerned at this moment, but I just wonder if there's something in there that she's like, look, I don't want to destroy my sister, so I kind of think Emery might at some point switch sides.
Okay.
And
right, everybody, you heard it here first.
Yeah. And Nalase is good as dead. She's gone. Hey, gone. Angie's here. Hi, Angie.
Geek Girls Podcast. Hi, Angie.
So, we should probably mention that. So, Geek Girls, Megan and Angie and Megan, they're starting up a podcast here in a couple of weeks, I think.
Cool.
So, be on the lookout for that. She's been making announcements on Facebook, so check that out. March 8th. Gotcha. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It was supposed to be March 1st, but we had something else come up. So don't want to talk about it. It'll kind of bring down the podcast. But anyway, so she says she's excited for y'all to join me too.
Right. We're doing a D&D episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
When is that? Anyway. Yeah, we'll have to discuss that later.
You're right on. It'll be good.
So yeah, my thought is at some point Emery is going to switch sides. That's just what I think. And I do believe that Crosshair will be fully back on the team as far as, joining the Bad Batch again. And, he's going to be reluctant, but he has nowhere else to go because the Empire is not going to accept him anymore. He's done as far as the Empire goes. So he has nowhere else to go. And I think the only place he knows that he can be accepted is the Bad Batch. So he'll be with Clone Force 99. I also predict that Tech is not dead. I believe that we will see Tech again.
Excuse me.
Probably not till the second half of the season, though. That's my guess.
Okay.
Don't die on us, dude.
I know, right?
Especially on the air. That wouldn't be good.
Right.
Might be good for our ratings, but
I know. Somebody said he was going to kidnap me off the podcast one time, come in a mask and kidnap me off of it. I said, no, because then they'll call 911. Then I'll get swatted. Then you can see getting swatted on the.
Yeah. Who's gonna kidnap me?
I got a friend here.
Oh, you got a friend that's gonna kidnap you, huh? Right off the podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Tell him to do it at the end of the show because then I gotta do everything.
You'd be fine.
I don't want to do the whole show by myself. So
you do fine. Well, when you have other guests and stuff, you do great.
Right. I wouldn't have another guest.
Speaking of which, you want to talk about next week?
Oh, yeah. Next week, Stephen will not be here. Stephen's going to be on a trip. So speaking of me taking the heavy load.
Right.
And Theron will be joining me, and we are going to be discussing part 1 of DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, the new animated movie that just dropped. I think it was in November it dropped of last year. But it is part 1 of 3 parts.
Did part 2 come out? I think
not yet. The trailer just dropped for it. I haven't watched the trailer.
Oh, that's probably what I saw.
But yeah, I don't want to say too much because save it for the podcast. And but Theron's excited to come back and discuss some Crisis with me. And like I said last week, they are re-releasing the original Crisis series in facsimile issues this year, so I'm looking forward to collecting those too. And we'll kind of compare the original Crisis with the new animated version a little bit because I don't remember a lot from it. There's certain things that were major things that I remember, like the death of Flash and the death of Supergirl and stuff like that. But but we'll have a look back at some of that stuff and kind of compare it anyway. So yeah,
it's got a great cast.
The only thing I had an issue with is I had to get over because they got a new style of animation and it looks a little weird compared to what it has in the past. But other than that, yeah, it's good. I don't want to say too much more than that.
Okay.
I don't want to give a number on it or anything because I'll do that next week. So, and I'll have to rewatch it this week too. Anyway, but we were talking Bad Batch. So yeah, my major predictions so far for season 3 is 1, Tech will come back, and I think he'll come back in the second half of the season. 2, Crosshair will officially be back with Clone Force 99, and 3, I think Emery at some point will switch sides. And 4, Nalise is good as dead.
Okay.
I think Nalise being good as dead was pretty evident in these episodes
From the very beginning, right?
Right. And I think Nalise knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Because, the whole time she kept trying to destroy Omega's blood samples.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't get discovered.
Because she knew. So if she has an M count, if it's a midichlorian count, what do you think that means?
Well, okay. From what I understood, it's like the blood is bonding with the M count. So from what we had learned from the sequel trilogy, God, I hate bringing that up. From what we had learned from the sequel trilogy, the clones that most of the clones that the Emperor tried to create, they could not clone the M count, the midichlorian count. I still think it's funny they say M count because they just don't want to say midichlorian. But let's face it, that's what the M count is. It's midichlorian count. Anyway, so I think the whole point of this is they're trying to get that one perfect clone. And I don't think they ever do, because what we get in Rise of Skywalker, he's still a clone, and he's still, not a perfect clone. He's, so I don't think
abomination in unnatural.
That was cool. Oh my gosh, the Emperor sounded great. He sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love seeing those 2 red royal guards flanking him. Oh man, yeah, those are some of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. Emperor and the Emperor Royal Guards. I just love that imagery. It's fantastic imagery. Oh, that was something I wanted to mention. So, she breaks Crosshair out, which was great. I love the scene where. where she's like, buy me some time, and he's like, oh great, okay, fine, I'll buy you some time. And he calls the trooper over there, and he starts giving the trooper commands, and the trooper's like, this clone thinks that he outranks me. And he goes, because I do. I loved that. I loved it. Yeah, lousy stormtrooper. You think you can beat Crosshair even with his tremor hand? He's still with your butt. I loved it.
Yep.
It was fantastic. But it was hilarious because they're going through the like the Imperial I don't know, docket or whatever, and they find out that that's when they find out the Emperor is there. And Omega says, well, we'll just have to steal the Emperor's shuttle. Yeah, way to think big there, Omega.
Right?
If there's one shuttle that I don't think you could steal, that's it. You're not stealing the Emperor's shuttle. And Crosshair's like, yeah, we're gonna have to find something else. So yeah, that was hilarious. Hey, Angie's here.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I just wanted to pop in and say hello.
Hello.
So I missed you guys, and I'm officially back in the United States of America.
Are you back? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
World traveler.
So I didn't
World
expect you to pop me
traveler.
on here, but I just wanted to say hi.
All good.
I just looked down and I was like, hey, Angie's in here. All right. Well, you might as well plug your show since you're on.
Yeah, of course. So basically, Meg and I have decided to start our own podcast, and it's going to be called Geek Girls Podcast. And it's all geeky stuff, but basically it's from things from both of our childhood. So I grew up in the 90s. I was an 80s baby. She grew up in the 2000s. And so we're going to be talking about various things like Nickelodeon, old Cartoon Network stuff. We're going to be talking about board games, D&D, because, obviously.
The reason I laugh, my niece Dallas, I remember one time she was staying with us, and we said something about playing games, and she's like, "What kind of games?" And we're like, "Board games." And she goes, "Oh, you know why they call them board games? Because they're boring."
That's so funny.
That's funny.
Well, I'm a very advanced board gamer, so I'm like, there's two things that I probably geek out more than anything in the entire world, and that is board games or any type of tabletop games and D&D. So yeah, but our very first episode is going to start being on Fridays, and our very first one is actually going to be on March 8th. So
all right, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited, and I know there's a couple episodes I'm going to have you guys in for, since you're the Star Wars gurus.
He is. He is. There. I'm pointing correctly. He is.
We're gonna for May the 4th and things like that. We're gonna have you guys on, and so we have a lot of really awesome things planned. So I'm excited.
There's 2 new board games I saw that I'd like to get.
Yeah.
One is the Batman Who Laughs.
Oh, I haven't
So
seen that yet.
it's based on the Batman Who Laughs comic series, which I love that series. It was great. And then there is a Halloween, Michael Myers Halloween, and it looks
Nice.
The Halloween one looks like it's kind of a take on Clue on the Clue game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So funny story.
Michael
It was in
Myers
London, right?
the kitchen with the rope.
Right?
Yeah. So funny story. I was in London, right? And I was looking for games that I could buy, which I had bought way too much stuff, so I couldn't bring it over. So I'm going to actually have the store ship me because they didn't have any in at the time. So I'm going to have them ship me some board games.
She shipped her game.
Yeah. One of them is actually I don't know if you guys have heard of the One Night Werewolf game, where it's
I have heard of the werewolf game.
So it's kind of like I'm trying to think what the old school game was called, like Villagers or something. I can't think of the name of it.
Mafia.
Yeah, Mafia. So so most people remember the game Mafia, where like everybody has a role, and then like the mafia people are trying to win and the villagers are trying to win, that kind of thing. So that's how Werewolf is. But it has like a horror spin on it, but it's also where you roll dice, and like it's like this really cool thing that I have never seen over here. So she's going to be shipping me some games. So I'm like really excited to play test those. But yeah, so I'm super excited for this new venture. As you guys both know, you inspired me and caused me to want to get into the podcast world. And after talking with Meg, I was like, you want to do it with me? Like, this will be really fun. And so we're going to get our feet wet in the podcast world.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
That should be fun. All right, cool. Did you watch Bad Batch by any chance?
I haven't watched hardly anything since I've been busy on missions, and then I had like 2 weeks.
Oh, well, look, Steven's.
What is that?
Steven's got a new pup.
This is Heidi.
So cute.
She's a Cavapoo. She's 17 weeks, and she's been bad
That's
this
cute.
morning.
But yeah, I have a lot of catching up to do on shows and all the things, because I just was like, you know what, I'm freshly coming off of mission mode, and so I'm like, I'll watch it all when I get home.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I think this wraps up our show. So overall, I enjoyed the first 3 episodes. Like I said, what did I give it? A 7.5. 7.5. I think overall they were decent episodes, and I think it's gonna.
They're like the board games.
Do what?
They were like the board games. Boring.
Yeah, I disagree. Oh, come on. The episode with the cadets, that wasn't boring at all.
The most exciting thing that happened is that he had a
Yes,
sarlacc that
quite a
came
bit.
out of the ground and they blew it up.
I'll admit
Across
that did look like a sarlacc. That looked just like a sarlacc. It was like, you probably could have been.
It's a sarlacc in the jungle versus a sarlacc in the desert.
Okay, true. But it was cool.
Slither vines, whatever.
Mount Tantis felt like Jurassic Park a lot.
Oh,
that's what we should do. We should add the Jurassic Park theme music as they're flying
been
into
funny.
Mount Tantis. That would have been awesome. Have a T-Rex roar as they come in too. That would be fantastic. All right. Well, obviously, Stephen was not on board with these episodes.
It was all right. It's all right, but I'm sure it's just the introduction to get things going, and I think they'll get it better, kind of thing.
You don't sound too confident, but we'll see.
Right.
It is Dave Filoni, man. Dave Filoni.
I know. That's why I was just
in Dave we trust. In Dave we trust.
All right.
Did you like season 2?
I forgot what happened in season 2.
Other than the fact that we had a lot of the
we lost Tech. Okay, I'm still dealing with the trauma of seeing them fly off and go into the clouds.
I thought Crosshair was your favorite.
He's gonna go into therapy and be like, "See, start it like this."
Right. Listen, they all look alike. I get confused on who's who.
No, they don't look alike though.
They don't.
Not
Clone
Force 99.
Right.
All the others look all alike.
That was so wrong.
I know. I was thinking that too. Anyway, in fact,
really missed you guys.
In fact, the cadets even point out the fact that they don't look like them. They're like, oh, they knew right away. Oh, you guys are the rejects.
99s. Yeah, you guys are the 99s.
Yeah, but they're the ones that are still out there and doing things. You guys are stuck on a planet full of mines. So what does that say?
Yep.
That says that Clone Force 99 is awesome. And you guys suck.
Right.
Because you're just regs.
You're just regs. All right, everybody. Well, with that, check us out at www.2geeksmike.com. That would be the number 2 GEEKSMIC.com. And from there, you can go to all things 2 Geeks. Hey, by the way, everybody, don't forget, go check our Ko-fi page at ko-fi.com/2geeks. There you will find the 37-page story that we developed and created with the help of AI. We gave it the parameters. We gave it the chapter beats. We gave it the outlines. We went through and talked through what we wanted happening and had AI help us write our story. What if Qui-Gon Jinn did not die? And what would happen? It is actually not bad. It's fun. It's just
really
fun.
Good.
Fun fan fiction and stuff. So
is it better than the first 3 episodes of Bad Batch season 3?
Yeah, I think so.
He was gonna say that.
So, with that being said, everybody, we are going to do an audio book version of it with voices and characters and the whole bit. It's going to take a little time, but we're going to get it done. And so that's going to be for all our supporters at any level. We have a $1 tier, $2 tier, and a $3 tier per month. All that money just goes to help us pay for like StreamYard and Podbean and some other things like that as well. If you want to reach out to us at show@2geeks.com, 2geeksmike.com. That's where you can. Mike does a pretty good job of monitoring that email. And if you have any questions, comments, funny anecdotes, suggestions of stories, suggestions of anything that you would like us to cover, those kind of things, we would love to hear it. And so also from the 2geeksmike.com, you can also get to our 2geeksmikemerch.com. And so as Mike said, we've got Save It for the Podcast t-shirts and other fun t-shirts there as well. So if you want to check us out there as well, I could give you the long one. I think I still have it. See, everybody, there's the one, but we're just going to get rid of that one now. So
we're not going to talk about that one.
That's right. Just go to 2geeksmike.com to the thing, or to go to
he just likes to give me a hard time. That's all.
Right. something like that. All right. Well, that's the dealioso, everybody. With that being said, Mike, do you have anything else you want to add?
Just that if you've made it this far, please make sure and go and like and subscribe to us both on Facebook and on YouTube. Facebook, I try to put up a lot of memes and any information about the podcast, upcoming episodes, so on and so forth. Give the bell a little tickle over there on YouTube, because when you do, it will let you know when we go live. And speaking of live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math, because I don't like math. With that said, and go like us and follow us over on X. Trying to build up that audience over there. I don't have
X platform's working out. Yeah.
And we stream over on X too. So if you'd like to watch us on X, you can watch us on X. Mm-hmm. You can watch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. And we have 4 different spots on Facebook you can watch us. Mine is Steven's personal pages, my action figure page, the 2 Geeks page, and the 2 Geeks page. So we have plenty of avenues for you to watch us on. And then, of course, always, you can listen to the podcast the old-fashioned way. Isn't that funny? The podcast is the old-fashioned way.
Right.
All right. With that said, I don't have anything else. Do you, Stephen?
We're good.
Angie?
Nope.
All right. So with that said, let me find my outro. I got a headache. Thank you for joining us today on the 2 Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,